What is up? What is up? What is up? Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Evening Alpha. I am your host, Todd, 26, I think, year veteran of the comic and animation field and founder of Adult Fantasy, the hottest comic and animation NFT project out there. We're, I guess, technically OGs because we're we launched in December of last year. You last more than 3 months in the NFT space, you're pretty much an OG. So anyway, what is Adult Fantasy? Well, it is designed by a team of industry veterans from Marvel and Cartoon Network and Adult Swim. And what we do over at Adult Fantasy is we help our community members, whom we affectionately call adults, develop world-class character-based universes. And we do that via a decentralized world building and lore creation system that we're developing. We think that this inclusive bottoms-up approach is a radically new method as it's applied to IP development and character franchise creation. And it's only really made possible by all the cool stuff happening in Web3 and blockchain and all the tech going on. And we think it's a big deal. We think that this type of decentralization is the future of creative IP franchise development and licensing and publishing and collecting and you name it, it's all caught up in there. And so that is the game. And so tonight we have something kind of light. Something kind of light. What we're gonna do is I found a really cool article or a thread on Twitter, and I thought it would be fun to just kind of pop over and have a little bit of a light conversation for a Friday night, just to see what's going on, just to see how things are going. So we're gonna just jump right in. And before I forget, stick around because at the end of tonight's live stream, we are going to reveal the winner of the Unethical Cupid's Roads to Rome giveaway. So Dusty's here. We're going to invite him on at the end, and we will spin the Wheel o' Fun to see who wins and who loses, of course. But everybody's a winner. Everybody's a winner. I think so. All right, let's hop in. Let's see what we got going on here tonight. All right, add the stream. There we go. So I found this and I thought it was fascinating. As a project owner, it is so different, and I say this often, it is so different behind the scenes when you are building something than when you are sort of on the other side of the table and just collecting. It's really, you really get to understand how fast everything has to move and how much work it is. It's crazy. And so I saw this from King Pickle. He says, fuck it, I started a business and NFT project back in January. I thought I was prepared. God, I was wrong. Here are the challenges and secrets that a lot of project founders face but refuse to talk about. So I think this is going to be a really fascinating article. So let's see exactly what we have here. Hey, what's up, Hype? Hype's here. How you doing? Happy Friday, Hype. Welcome. All right. So the first thing, the number 2 point, but really the first thing that King Pickle is talking about is time. He says, for some reason, I thought that because I could trade and be active in Web3 while working a job, I could start a project in my free time. Nope. Had to quit my job and go full time in less than a month. I now work 12 plus hours a day and often with little to show each day. Time is a big deal. And certainly there is no possible way. If you want to, you can certainly launch an NFT in your spare time, but don't expect it to be a long-standing project. If it's an art project or something that you just want to do, by all means do it and keep your day job. There's no harm in that at all. There's no party foul. You know what I mean? Like, everybody's journey is different. But if you are planning to launch a legitimate project in the NFT space, you should fully expect to never sleep again. Like, it is a tremendous amount of work, and it moves faster than Web 2. And Web 2 is a full-time job. You launch a startup in Web 2 software, just a software company. You are going to be working your face off, and that's regardless of whether you raise venture capital or not. You're going to be working your face off as you grow a business, grow a team, talk to customers, talk to partners, make sales, pivot, advertise, you name it. It's all going to get done. And really, you're the one that's going to be doing it. So yeah, it's a tremendous amount of time. He brings up, the other part he brings up is that he works 12 hours a day and often with little to show each day. Well, 12 hours a day is common. I still work more than that. And I would say that the often with little to show each day is more, that's different. That's more of a managerial problem. That's you need to learn how to manage your time better. It's not easy. There's a lot of courses, there's a lot of books, there's a lot of ways to do it. I use a Kanban board or Kanban. I'm from the South, so I overpronunciate Kanban. But there's a Kanban board, and I manage everything through Trello. And I've built a system up. I've taken a lot of courses over the years, and I've built my own system that I call the Reactor. I've taught others the same position, how to do it. And it works. And you produce a shit ton of work. And so that removes the whole little to show each day, because what you learn really quick as a founder or an entrepreneur is that the entrepreneur, we don't process daily tasks the same way that most people do. Meaning most people process in blocks of 8-hour day. I get to work at 9 or 10 and I leave at 5 or 6. And this is the project that I'm working on. This is the thing that I've been given. And these are the few tasks that I have today, maybe a meeting or two. And as I do that, I have accomplished my mission for the day. Great. I go home and I cook dinner, play with the kids, watch TV. With entrepreneurship, let alone Web3, every day is waking up and saying, I have 7 days of work that I must accomplish today. And for every task that you don't complete in that mountain of work every day, it spills over into the next day, and it just starts to stack and stack and stack and stack and stack. So you really need to develop a way to manage that and move that around and delegate it or get rid of it or schedule it for later or put it in what we call an ice box, which is, you know what, it's just gonna, maybe it gets done, it's not priority, as something that needs to get done, kind of, sort of. When you're building a business, everything feels like top priority. So you still need to pick, I call them hits. I've got hits and to-dos. I do 4 hits out of the week. They're out of 5 days, there's 4 hits. That gives me a free day. I'd take that hit. The hit is the number one thing that I have to do, that if I knock it over, it moves me towards my quarterly goal. It's like I said, it's a complete system. And by doing that and making sure that you get it done and following it, you solve this problem of feeling like you don't have things to show every day, right? That's busy work. What this person is saying when he says often with little to show each day is that there's so much to do that the busy work side of things is stacking up and you're not actually progressing on the business. It's a very, very hard to do, but that's the challenge, right? That's what you got to do. Hey, Bad Kitty, how you doing? Welcome. Desi says most days it's wake up till sleep. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Mastiff says, hey, great topic. Awesome. What's up, Mastiff? How you doing, brother? Absolutely. Hey, Bad Kitty's here. Wicked. Awesome. But time is definitely a factor. That's when you hopefully you can get some people to help. Hopefully you're not the only person on a team being like a solopreneur for NFTs. I think that would be very difficult unless you were like an artist, like a solo one-of-one art artist, The next thing King Pickle brings up is money. Very few projects are equipped for angel investing or VC funding. Most projects like mine are bootstrapped, which means not only do we not make money until mint, we have massive expenses such as contract dev, marketing, moderators, etc. Things are always tight. Money is always going to be most of the time, unless it's venture backed, money could be an issue. I think the thing to know is that if you're bootstrapped, you have to know what you can do and know what you can't do. And it's okay to pare things back, and it's okay not to have a 10,000 piece launch. We see so many of these launches happen all the time that I think we think that that's the way it has to be. Like, we're going to do a 10,000 piece drop and we'll make X amount of millions of dollars, and this is how it's going to be. And not only does it not always work out that way, but it also doesn't have to be that way. Meaning, sure, everyone wants to do a multi-million-dollar drop, but you have to be prepared for that. I know a lot of teams that are doing to do a 10K drop, they're spending several ETH a month, with on 10 moderators on a Discord, on advertisers, on influencer marketing, like you name it, they're really going after it. And that's pre-launch. Like we're talking like 10, 20 grand a month, just in personnel pre-launch. So you have to really understand what you're doing and what you're going after. And sure, you don't. The other way to do that is to go VC funding route if you feel like your project supports that. And a lot of times now, the way these VC funds are working is that in Web 2.0, they would basically just give you a tranche of cash in exchange for equity. And now what's happening is you're getting that cash as buys of your NFT. I'm not going to name names, but there are some very, very popular projects where like 75% of the people buying are first-time buyers, and they're spending several $1,000s, right? Like above an ETH or two. So those are not newbie people coming into the NFT space for the first time and finding a project. Those are institutional accredited investors and funds who are investing in a project to buy the project out, to give it a success, so that the project can continue to do what it needs to do. So for number two, when it comes to money, you really just need to understand your own budget and understand what you can and can't do. And if you have less money, then you're going to be spending more time, right? Money is always a shortcut for time. If you have more money, you can hire more people, which means you can do more stuff faster, right? Money is gasoline to a business. It's an accelerant. If you have less of that or none of that, that just means you're going to be moving at a slower pace. So you have to prepare for that. And the best way to prepare for that is to set the expectation of what you can deliver for yourself, and set the expectation and be transparent with the people who come into your community, right? People are pretty understanding. You know what I mean? Like, I think they pretty much get it. As long as you're open and transparent about it. If you're talking about, if you're bootstrapped and you don't have any connections in animation or comics or film, and your roadmap is talking about launching an animated pilot and doing a movie or something, like you're gonna get hit, because there's no fucking way. Like, unless, even if you sold out, if you don't have the connections and you don't have enough money to do it, like, you better know what you're doing, or at least have an idea. So it's better to be transparent, better to be like, real with people, and be prepared to stick for the long term. I mean, I think that's what you have to do, and the money will come as long as you continue to provide value and you be yourself, and you really, really do everything you can to make everyone who supported you glad that they supported you, right? That's, everything that comes in goes right back into the business. That's the way it is, and that's how you grow, especially a bootstrap business. And I agree. I think angel investing in VC funds, I understand why it's there, and I understand why so many NFT projects are going after it and Web3 projects are going after it. It's not a bad thing. It's not a good thing. It's just a thing, whatever your perspective on it is okay. I find it a little surprising that some of the companies and some of the projects that talk about community building as a primary thing first and foremost go after VC funding, because then it's, in my opinion, it's less about the community, right? If it's like, hey, we're all in this together and we're going to build all of this together and we're all equal, and then there's a couple of funds that end up owning like 50% of the tokens, well, then they really have control of the DAO. They have control of the vote. They control pretty much what happens to the project, to a large degree. Again, nothing wrong with that, as long as you're not trying to claim that. Or if you've claimed it, then you just be real about it and say, hey, slight change of direction. Here's the deal. There are ways to go about that, I think. Hey, what's up, Carrots? Good evening. Good evening, sir. Carrot says, I read this Twitter thread today as well. It's a good read. Yeah, it totally is. It was really interesting. Rageous, what's up, man? Welcome. Hype says, definitely not decentralized, though. Yeah, exactly. If you're going after VC cash, it's not a decentralized thing, right? It's a centralized play in a decentralized space. Again, nothing wrong with that, as long as you know that's what you're doing and you're transparent about it, right? Don't mislead people. I'm not suggesting this guy's doing that. I'm just saying, money can be tight. Certainly, you just have to manage expectations and plan based on what you can provide. And I think if you do that, you're good. It's really simple. There's plenty of people who launch really great projects who are dead broke, right? It is possible. It's one of the brilliant things right now in Web3. Buying followers. Any founder that says they never discussed buying followers is full of shit. This is the weird cycle where there is a weird cycle where you need followers to get into alpha groups and collabs, but you need the collabs to get the real followers. So everyone buys followers and moves on. Yeah. So yes and no. I 100% agree that I cannot imagine a team that hasn't had a discussion about, and I don't call it's not buying followers, it's advertising. So I think right there is a problem. If your perspective is like, hey, we're going to buy some followers, then you are in the wrong business, man. With that, that's like, yeah, that's just not the way it works. What it is the discussion is advertising and the methods of advertising. And the challenge with advertising is that everybody hates it, but it always works. And the problem with advertising in the Web3 space is that oftentimes the methods that people don't like, they don't like them because they work. And because they work, that's also where a lot of the scammers come in, right? DMing works, like it just does. But that's also why it's dangerous. Influencer marketing works. That's why influencer marketing exists, but it's kind of whatever, like there are a lot of ways to go about it. There is a weird cycle. It says there's a weird cycle where you need followers to get into alpha groups and collabs, but you need the collabs to get real followers. Yeah. We actually saw this with our project back in like the summertime of last year. Some of you OGs probably remember. We were just doing organic, and it was like, man, we had like 200, maybe 250 people in the Discord, and everybody in the Discord was supportive, but they're like, yeah, man, you got to get more people. When are you gonna start marketing? And they're like, fuck, okay. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, we were like marketing our faces off. We were just doing it organically and not paying for it. And the interesting thing is that you get people who come in and that say, oh, there's nothing happening in this Discord because there's not a lot of people, and then they bounce. So we saw that a lot, right? Whereas, so it would be easy. I do understand the argument for like, hey, let's just advertise, get 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 people in here, and then some of those will be real people, and at least people will be happy because, there is a weird dynamic where in most Discords, people come in, and if they don't see a lot of people, they bounce, right? So the founder of the project is pushed to say, well, we don't have a choice. People say they don't want us to advertise, or they don't buy followers, whatever. People say they don't want this, but they really do. Otherwise they leave, right? So there is this kind of weird back and forth. It is true that you need followers to get into alpha groups and collabs. The collabs, not so much. I mean, we've had collabs since the very beginning. Granted, to be fair, that may be our unfair advantage. I don't know. The unfair advantage being like our background with Marvel and Cartoon Network and stuff. So that might be some of it. Maybe just our experience might be an unfair advantage because we've never had a problem getting collabs or giveaways when we've looked for them. But certainly with alpha groups, like everyone is so mathematic about it. They're trying to be so analytical about it. NFTs has this weird cross reference between fine art and stocks that, the first thing they do is they look at your Twitter following and they look at the Discord numbers and they're like, oh, well, this is too small or too big or whatever. So there really is a lot of pressure put on projects to do all that. We just today we were talking about like influencer marketing, and we talk about it. We haven't done it, but we talk about it. And we may do some of it. Never ever would we ever buy followers, but I have no problem advertising. That is a normal way to scale a business, right? I think you have to target the right people who are hopefully interested. So you're not just like, blasting your crap out there like a shotgun to like grandmas who don't give a crap. But there's no problem with advertising in the appropriate manner. So I wouldn't say everyone buys followers. That's not true. I think it just depends on the project, and the people. It depends on the project and it depends on the community. We've been pretty organic. Yeah. Let's see. Ray just says, "Hey, what's up, J-Raw? Welcome, brother." Ray just says the team is much more accessible here, although that changes as capacity may change, but demand must increase to reduce that capacity. Yeah, I think one of the things that we're doing behind the scenes is a lot of what we're doing is creating a structure to hold growth, right? Like everything that we're doing, like you notice, like Dusty's posting stuff in the morning. We're doing evening alphas. We're doing more and more AMAs, which you'll see. I think we have a few coming up next week that are going to be pretty cool. We're doing more and more stuff in a more structured way so that we can handle scale, so that when scale hits, we're not going to be like up Shit's Creek, right? We're putting in the structure now to be prepared for the future. So I don't think that the accessibility will change. At least I hope it doesn't, because that would be awful. I think it's probably it's one of our core missions to be as accessible as humanly possible. In fact, the only time that we're not accessible, that I'm not accessible, is when I'm like working, just building stuff, right? Like if I'm having to like actually work. Let's see. Kara says back in the olden days. Back in the olden days, you mean like last year? Hey Jay. Dusty says, I will say Todd paid me $5 to follow the official AF. Yes, check is in the mail, Dusty. I have put the check in the mail. I put that postage stamp. I don't even know how much postage costs anymore. Isn't that awful? Like everything is like just digital or like ETH or USDC. J-Raw says, just got home, but gotta take care of the house stuff. Got this playing on my big screen while I'm in the house. Hey, big screen, I like it. We made it big time. Thank you, Jay. When I had a bit more. Oh, hey, I still have I'm still doing pretty good, man. I got the Jufro still kicking. We got it going on. Still waiting on well, the mail is slow, Dusty. U.S. postal mail is very slow. You will get it soon. Check it. What's up, Master Chief? What's up, dude? Master Chief wants to be paid in Banff. Yeah, that's a wise investment, sir. Wise investment. So, yeah, buying followers is a no-no. That's just stupid. Legitimate advertising there's zero problem with that in my book. And he is right. There is a cycle where if you have no one in your Discord, people come in and they're like, why am I the only one here? And they're more likely to bounce. So there is kind of a polarity that you have to adjust to. I will say that, just to sum that up, the thing that helped us the most wasn't buying followers, quote unquote, and it wasn't advertising, because we were mostly organic. The thing that helped us the most was the whitelist. We launched the whitelist early, and I would say that we actually launched it too early. If I had it, who knew? There was no playbook back then, but the minute we did the whitelist and there was a flood of people, it took care of itself, right? That was enough to at least alleviate the pain of not having a lot of people, and it got us being talked about in alpha groups. So yeah, that is a concern. Number 5, the market. Nobody knows what the market sentiment will be in the next week. We've had to pivot 10 plus times from canceling Dutch auction to changing our mint price. People love and hate different things every week, and it's impossible to predict or plan for. True. You definitely don't know what the market sentiment is going to be week to week. You got to keep your nose to the grindstone. If you're pivoting 10 plus times, then I would say you haven't done enough market research, maybe. Although I'm sure he would argue with me on that. You should have at least done enough market research to know the project, know what's going to work, or have a good idea of what's going to work, what your people are going to like, what the demographics are, what the psychographics are, who your target audience is, understanding what overall the market wants. You can't completely just fly in the wind of the market, because if you get a weird stream one day and everybody hates Dutch auctions, it might be that the day after that people love Dutch auctions or reverse Dutch auctions or something. So you can't just completely fly kind of be a slave to Twitter about it. But it is true that people love and hate different things every week, and it's impossible to predict or plan for. There are plenty of things so some of you guys might remember this. Like, we did one of the things. So we were working on, in fact, we were working on number 4, the not that we were buying followers, but like the idea of like, how do we get people in the Discord so they don't like say, oh man, there's no one in this Discord, and they bounce. And so we started doing the invite contests, and I studied my face off. At so many Discords, and I went in, I found some that I found a model that did really well for this Discord. It was a good Discord, run by a good team, and I thought the invite mechanisms they were using was excellent, and their Discord loved it. It did super well, and I was like, boom, we got it. Like, awesome. We've got some data, got some real numbers. People seem to really like this. Awesome. And so we went and we put it up, and we launched it, and immediately our Discord, like, people flooded the whole living hell out of it. People were like, it's a scam. Da, da, da. Like, people like flooded Discord, and we were so shocked. I was like, oh my God, what did we do? Like, what's going on? And like, I everything was fine. I did the mea culpa. I hopped on video, and I was like, hey, we're figuring it out. Please hold, like, I don't understand, but we're going to figure this out as a team. And what had happened was, literally maybe 2 days before, the day before, like, all of a sudden the market sentiment had been that invite contests were bad. Like, real projects, only scam projects did invite contests. And for that beginning of the week discussion, apparently that was the topic, and I hadn't seen it. And so when we launched it, we fell into the topic of the moment as a negative thing. Now, and we were like, and so we were like, okay, we're not doing any invite contests ever again, never. And of course, like, a week later, people, okay, maybe 2 weeks later, new people were like, why don't you guys do an invite contest? That would really liven things up in here, like, and just the moment had passed. We still haven't done an invite contest since, but I'm sure if we did, it'd probably be not. I don't know, but my guess would be that it wouldn't be a big deal. It wouldn't be an explosion of negativity, unless you guys didn't want to do it, right? Which of course we would ask before we did anything like that. But it is true. Things change every single day, and you never know what's going to hit tomorrow and what people are going to like and what people don't like. At one moment, people are talking about Dutch auctions, and then people were talking about like Bored Ape launched there. I think what this person's talking about is Other Side came out with saying that they were going to do Dutch auctions, and they had that for like a month or something. Like, hey, we're going to do a Dutch auction, and that's how you're going to get the land. And people were crapping on the idea, and so then Other Side came out and had a blog post that said Dutch auctions suck. Here's why. And like, basically, so kind of try to play it like they were kidding about the Dutch auction. Maybe they were, and it was a setup. Who knows? But it was just the topic of the moment. So if this person was planning a Dutch auction because he thought that it was popular, and then all of a sudden the market said don't do a Dutch auction, that does kind of make you say, well, shit, maybe we shouldn't do that, right? Let's see. Dusty says, I remember that total rage with the first invite Yeah, it was massive. It was like the biggest engagement the Discord's ever had, and it was like brutal and negative. It was like, oh my God. Kara says, I remember the blowback from the invite competition. Like, right? It was crazy. It was so surprising to us. We had no idea, and we were absolutely deer in headlights. Like, what? Why are we why is Adult Fantasy the only project that can't invite people? Like, what the hell is going on? It's a weird thing to feel. It's a real weird feeling, Dusty says, I remember torches and pitchforks were beef. Kara says, you guys pivoted pretty quick. Yeah, it was like all hands. Like we like, I just, that was actually, I believe that was actually the first time I hopped on video. Because I'm always been pretty active in the Discord, and like, I was just like, I don't even know what's going on. Let me just I would just whipped out the phone. I was like, guys, totally didn't mean anything negative. Had no idea that this would be such a bad experience. We're just going to pause this. Just give us a minute. We're talking about it, but it's crazy. But that's the thing. It's like, and again, the crazy thing is a couple of weeks later, a month, like, I promise you, if we started building up, when we start growing, we're already getting more people in. As we're doing more AMAs, we're getting more organic people in. As more people start coming to the program, as we start launching, new projects and products that tie into adult fantasy, like, you're going to get the same thing. You're going to get people come in. Just watch out for it. You'll be able to pick it out. People will say, why don't you guys do an invite contest? Hey, I've got an idea, guys. You guys should really try an invite contest. And maybe we do, maybe the time is right for it, or maybe we don't. But it is certainly was a definitive moment where we just hit it at the wrong time because the market just didn't like it at that moment. It's just the way it is. That's the life of NFTs. But yeah, it's crazy, right? It's a fond memory now that it's long in the past. Mission versus value prop. We assumed that helping solve world hunger and saving lives would be an enticing reason for people to buy our NFT. Again, nope. People want value, often equating to money or stuff. It's sad, but it's real. Value doesn't always mean doing good. No. Value does mean always doing good, just to the people who are supporting your project directly. Helping solve world hunger and saving lives is awesome. But if that's the goal of the person who's buying an NFT, they can just donate the money to a charitable cause. So you need to be more than that, right? There needs to be a reason why people are going to back you and not just go back somebody else, or just donate directly to the cause themselves, right? Value can be money or stuff, but I think you have to think about value in a deeper context than that, right? Like, value means different things to different projects. And to be fair, I don't know what the project, this project is. But like, what is, it's a big discussion about utility, right? Like, if your mission, it's not a mission versus value prop, it's a mission and value prop. Like, what is the value proposition for the people to support it? What's their benefit to them? What do they get out of it, right? I mean, again, it's like really cool if you want to like get together a bunch of friends and donate to a charity, but you don't need an NFT project for that, right? Like, what else do you get out of it? Community is a huge part of it, but that's kind of like been built by default now. Like, every NFT project has a Discord. So I think it's a bonus and a plus, not necessarily the only thing, right? You really have to think, you have to integrate the NFT with utility and with value. I think the phase that we're in now, you've got the NFT, and I talk about this a lot. Like, you've got the NFT and someone buys the NFT, and then the founders say, oh, okay, cool, we need utility. So let's bolt on some other stuff. We'll bolt on this, bolt on this, bolt on this. So the NFT becomes a membership pass, more or less. Cool art or not, it's membership pass. And, maybe you get some extra drops and all that kind of stuff, but it's like bolted on utility. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's not a negative. But it's also only one way to go about doing something. I think another way to do something interesting is to tie the mission to the value prop. So for instance, I'll give an example of a project that's not adult fantasy that I like. I really like Jenkins of Ballet. We're actually playing in the same sandbox. Their first mission is to make like a novel, right? Dope. Awesome. the way you could tie that in to something like this, if the goal is to solve world hunger and saving lives, then why don't you move the community to create something together, of which the proceeds of that go to solving world hunger or saving lives? Not the money raised from buying the NFT, but the activity of everyone coming together to do something together can create a platform that can actually do even more good, right, than just like one-time sales or secondary sales from an initial launch of an NFT. So I think it's not necessarily an anti thing. I don't think they fight each other. Certainly, and it's not that people don't care about world hunger. It's just that people are motivated by greed. They're motivated by greed. We think about ourselves first, and that is normal. That is human nature, right? We certainly care about others, but you can only take care of others if you've taken care of yourself and your family, right? It's Maslow's hierarchy of needs at the end of the day. So it's not an either or. It's just an understanding that if people are trusting you and giving you their hard-earned money, then you have an obligation to move the community in some way or provide some value in some way to them. And then as a result of that, you can then solve bigger problems. Or you can do the simple thing and just say, hey, 5%, 2%, 1%, 10% of primary sales or secondary sales goes to charity. Kennel Club, right? The reason they're dogs is because they went to it was a charity. The percentage of the sales went to a charity, I think, for dogs, right? That was a very simple charitable donation, and people bought it. Why? Because it was Bored Ape. So it kind of benefited everybody. Dusty says, I'm not a big fan of NFT projects donating money to charity. It feels like it's often used as a sales pitch, and they only give a small amount to charity. Yeah, I feel you on that. I think I wish there was a way. We're in such cynical times too, right? Like, I wish there was a way to do it that, and maybe there is. I haven't truly thought about it that deeply, but I wish there was a way to do it that wouldn't be so sales pitchy. But I feel you on that. That is something that can be used more as a tool for sale than actual like a benefit to society. Although it's great to see 100% goes to charity. Sure. Well, that's the thing, right? If you had an NFT drop, if these guys, if their mission is to solve world hunger, for example, then why not? You could do the primary sale of the NFT, get the capital that you need because he is bootstrapped, get the capital that you need to build the product, right? And then launch the product, and like 50% of the proceeds of that product go to world hunger, right? Or whatever the project can afford. Like that's a way to do what he's talking about without hey, we're solving world hunger, buy my NFT, right? It's like working together to build something and creating value. I think that would be a good way to do it. But I'm sure there are other ways as well. 7, team conflict. Any healthy partnership or coworker relationship is going to have back and forth. There have been multiple times my partner and I have gotten into it about a trade or a mint price, and overcoming that in a healthy way was something new I had to learn. And I don't know what that is, but not string cheese. Cool. So maybe that's okay. So that's maybe his partner. Yeah. So we're really blessed in that our team, and I've learned this the hard way over a long period of time. Having a bad co-founder or not enjoying the people you hire or work with is a real negative experience. So I've been super blessed on this project that we're all, like, everybody on this project, we've all known each other for a long time, and we're all friends, and that's why I think it hangs together. And there's because we've been through so much as friends for so long that, and with Melissa and me, it's family, right? Like, she's my wife. So that we know how to work around it. And I think one of the keys that we've learned is to never demand, always request, or always, like, anytime I put something out there, I'm always asking for opinions. Like, I do not make a decision without consulting other people, right? Just so that I get a full 360. I'm always like, hey, do you mind checking this out? What do you think? I'd love your opinion. Do you think you could do this? What do you think about that? Like, it's just a not making assumptions. Certainly as like a founder, you got to make decisions, right? You can't be wishy-washy about stuff, but you also have to be inclusive enough and understand that you can't live in the vacuum of your own thoughts. And when you do have, I know some bad, you advise startups. Let me tell you, there's some crazy fucking conflicts out there, just nasty stuff. But I think it comes down to making sure you pick the right people and handling it in a professional way, and understanding, especially like I know a lot of the NFT teams are friends. And I think if it's your first time doing this and you're working with friends, you need to really like have a real conversation and say, look, like we're friends. Hey, we're friends, but this is a business. You know what I mean? So there's going to be times when, you have to play the part of what you're doing. I think what made adult fantasy work is that we all have our own areas of mastery, right? Like there's code and Unity, and the art side and the world building side, and like everybody is such a master that at least in their area, they can't be, they kind of get the rule. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna, like I might be able to bring something up to Melissa, but at the end of the day, if she says like this is the way it's going to be, it's kind of the way it's going to be. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, okay, I don't understand it. Sounds good. You've done the research. I trust you. Let's go. And I also think that making sure that everybody feels respected, or doing your best to make sure that everybody feels respected, allows for safe passage and friendships to continue when people move on, right? Like there's, this stuff is hard, and it's a long haul. Like I said, I have this weird, Melissa and I, and Flint, but really even Melissa and I, like, because we're husband and wife, we've been doing startups now together for over 10 years. And like, it puts you in a weird, it's taken me a long time to realize this, but it ain't normal, man. Like the hours that we work and the amount that we work and push is not normal for most people, right? And I think it's easy for us and me to say, yeah, we're going to be doing adult fantasy for like 25 years plus. It's easy because, and I can say it with confidence because I've already been doing it for 25 years. The only thing difference between now and like 10 years ago is internet, broadband, and Web3. You know what I mean? Like Web2 and Web3. So I think you have to learn how to deal with conflict. You have to learn how to do resolution stuff. I know I know some founders that ended up like literally going on top of a mountain and speaking to like Tibetan monks about the topics because they're large scale companies were having major problems with team conflict. So again, I feel super blessed. And I think with any team, you need to just have a way to hold a conversation and make sure that people understand that it's not personal, and to give people the respect, at least in their own field of expertise. Like I said, I can offer things when it comes to coding. I can say, well, what about this? And my job is to kind of throw wrenches at stuff. But at the end of the day, I have to kind of like give way to the masters and be like, yeah, if you think that's the right thing to do, let's do it. And likewise, everyone also reaches out to other projects as well. And you always, if you can't solve a problem or you're having an internal debate and you can't solve it, then reach out to another project and ask them. Go ask for help, get some advice, have someone break the tie, right? Ray just says, I do startups for warehouses, so I get the load. It takes to launch and understand. It's a different mindset. It really is. And I've been doing it so long that it's so normal to me that I don't think that's probably one of the things that I still have to remind myself is that, you know, the pace is not normal for most people. And so I try to understand that, you know what I mean? Like I would never like, I don't think I would ever try to push somebody unless it was like a launch and it's like all hands on deck. Like most people have lives, you know what I mean? And that's okay. Like, you know, you just have to understand that people are different and people have different tolerances. And if you're, you know, you just have to be sensitive to that, I think. Art, no matter how much you think you understand generative art, there are going to be hiccups. Trust me, a lot of trait combinations need to be reviewed a lot. And there are always debates on what looks good or has mass appeal. Nobody really knows. Yeah. So I would say that the concept of trait combinations need to be reviewed, a lot of them, 100%. Especially if you're doing like the generative PFP style drop, if you're going to do true random where you're not pre-generating images, you better be damn sure that your NFTs and your elements look good and they work in a multiple of combinations. What I mean is when you pre-mint and you have these images, even if you have 10,000 of them, you can go through and if there's anything that looks weird, if there's anything that looks off, you can just delete it and create another one. And when you don't do that, you get something like Misfit University, which I don't know if you guys remember. But Misfit University had, to this day, I don't think they meant anything negative by it. Maybe it's my, you know, trying to give people the benefit of the doubt. But Misfit University had teenagers, I think mostly women, girls. I think there were boys too. It's like girls and boys. They were supposed to be in a college setting because it was Misfit University. So the backdrops were like dorm rooms or the university, whatever. But what made it fascinating and interesting was that the characters had like some of their traits included like black eyes and like crying and like tape over the mouth, right? And like some of them were like tied up. And there was nothing like, it wasn't sexual. They were cartoon. The artwork was actually pretty good, but you look at it and you're like, I mean, one would hope you could see the problem a mile away, right? One would hope that you could do it, but they didn't. And so when this thing launched, I believe it was just a generated project. So there was random shuffle. And sure enough, you got the young woman with a black eye crying, tied up in a chair with duct tape over her mouth. And the internet went batshit crazy about the abuse of women and how this project was supporting abuse. I mean, they got torn up, man. And like I said, I try. They were super apologetic. They, you know, mea culpa, but it didn't matter. The project was screwed. I try to give the benefit of the doubt. They should have known this from day one. Like the minute I saw some of the combinations, I was like, you guys are stupid. Like, oh my God. I mean, and this is coming from a guy that drew heinous, you know what I'm saying? So there is a line and we try to not, you know, there's a line, you got to get it right up to it, but they definitely crossed it. And you know, Misfit University was, go look it up. It's pretty funny in a, not funny, but funny as in like, man, it's just a face palm. Anyway, you need to look at the art. You need to look at the combinations. In terms of mass appeal, I mean, you can look at the top 25, top 50 in whatever category you're in. There is, you know, you also have to understand what you're building. Like, we knew what we were building with adult fantasy, so we chose the style that was appropriate for it. With that said, we also have a style, we also have a project that allows anyone to use any style, just like comics, right? Like you look at Spider-Man, it's had a million different artists who draw Spider-Man a million different ways. Spider-Man in the comics looks different than Spider-Man in the movies, looks different than Spider-Man in the game. There's kid Spider-Man, baby Spider-Man. There's Spider-Man with big arms. There's once you have the character, you can create it a million different ways. So maybe there's going to be an anime looking version of adult fantasy characters, and that's totally cool. It totally fits. I think, certainly there was an internal joke. I was joking to, I don't remember who, but the team, like after Azuki came out, I was like, damn it, I should have picked anime, like, oh yeah, of course, anime and manga is super hot. I should have just picked that. But like, you gotta, it's a joke because you don't want to just like go after a fucking trend. Like you got to know the project, the art style that you choose should blend with the project. And you kind of have to avoid purely trying to go after things that are hot, because tomorrow they might not be hot, right? Trends are a thing. Likewise, though, you do need to look at the industry and the market and understand what people absolutely despise. Does the world need another, I don't know. I'm not even gonna pick. Just go out there and look. See what people just can't fucking stand and kind of try to stay away from that. Oh, Carrots is going after Spider-Ham and Peter Porker. Yeah, one of my all-time favorite characters. Yep, 100%. Master Chief, when anime AF deriv. Yeah, maybe we'll see. Absolutely, yeah. I'm all for it. I mean, that's the whole point. Like as we get into more stories and more details and more games, there's going to be a lot more art, and it's not just going to be my stuff. Again, like my point from the whole beginning has been to like set the world up and let the world build itself. So yeah, all styles are welcome. You know what I mean? It's about developing the character, and different art styles help to do that, right? Like anime and manga styles have such expression and such power that I think would be brilliant to add to it. Same thing with more comic booky, like cartoony stuff, right? Like why not have a Spider-Ham or a Peter Porker version, like that Hanna-Barbera version of all the characters? Who knows? Like it's not a negative. Like it just adds to the lore and to the universe, right? It adds love to it, because style is just an attraction device. You know what I mean? Like, there's been anime style Wolverine and Spider-Man. They actually did several years ago now. They did a whole anime like block. Like they hired, I think, Madhouse and Production IG and a couple of the other major Japanese studios to do versions of Marvel characters. And so you had an anime version of the X-Men, an anime version of Wolverine, an anime version of Spider-Man, I think. And they've done it with Batman. Batman had an anime version, and it was dope. It was so good. It just adds to the lore of the character, right? So it's not that you want to go after the hot thing. You want to go after the right thing for the right project, right? And try to avoid things that people absolutely can't stand. And really, what they can't stand is just total shit. So just don't do total shit. Batman had a wooden cowl version too. He's taking a shot at the DC cowl NFT. Yeah, man, that's just bad. I still want to do an evening alpha on that, because that was just trash. Contract development. Oh, we got a lot to go here. All right, contract development. We've gotten quotes from $5,000 to $65,000, or $500, sorry, to $65,000 from developers to write our contract. I'm not a dev. How do I know who's trustworthy? Not something you can skimp on, but reputable people say we overpay. On team devs would want massive portions of our mint. Yeah, I mean, it's developers. So developers get paid quite a bit, and Solidity developers get paid even more than quite a bit, because it's a new field and there aren't that many of them. And they have their pick of the litter. If they're like freelance devs, it's the old saw with Web 2. It's like the challenge of getting a developer in Web 2 is that your pitch has to be good enough that they decide not to do it on their own, because the developer always has the ability to do it by themselves. That's why they're developers. They can build whatever they want. That's kind of the point of becoming a developer. The range of quotes, it just depends on what you're doing. 500 is probably way too low. I have seen contracts that were 65K and over. Those tend to be larger, like software projects, and I'm thinking about smart contract. I'm not necessarily like, I've seen deploy contracts be over 65K. Not ours, not Adult Fantasy, but I have seen large software Web3 projects push smart contracts that were over 65K, and that doesn't include actually writing the code. So they can vary wildly. I would say if it's $500, you might want to check that, because that just sounds like somebody taking something off of YouTube or GitHub and pushing it, because that doesn't sound legit to me. Yeah, I would. It is difficult to find who to trust if you don't have a network of developers. I would, if you're in this situation and you're looking to create a project, my recommendation would just to start talk to people and hang out with people, straight up. Like the best way to do it is get a recommendation from someone you actually do trust. So you get into a couple of dev projects, right? Some maybe dev heavy Web3 projects. You just start talking, you try to learn, you prove that you're not just there to like, try to steal talent or something. You actually give a shit about the community. And then you can ask some recommendations, and you'll find some good people, in my opinion. 10 advisors, 1 of 2. Oof. We've spoken to 40 plus NFT advisors, and 90% of them are, facepalm. What they are really meant for is to help guide Web 2 brands that want to branch into Web 3 but know nothing. Not for veterans in the space wanting to start a project for the first time. Yeah, I mean, that's rather blunt and very generalizing, but I could see how that would be accurate. I'm going to take his word for it, because I don't really like, my experience has been a little different on that, but I could see there certainly are plenty of NFT advisors that are bringing on Web 2 brands into Web 3. So that's legit. That's true. Before we do the next one, Carrot says, I can imagine it would be difficult not knowing whether you are overpaying or getting someone who is terrible at the job, but that's not unique to Web 3. Yeah, exactly. Well, it's the problem with everything, right? It's like, it's the plumber problem. It's the mechanic problem. The mechanic says your car is busted, you need a new, engine. And if you don't know anything about cars, how do you know whether he's ripping you off or telling you the truth? Right? It's pretty accurate. Advisors, 2 of 2. What project founders really need when they say advisor is a public face to connect them with big projects for collabs and to blast the shit out of your NFT on Twitter and in spaces. But people pretend like they need to be a consultant. That is true. That has been kind of my experience. Again, I don't say that it's negative. It just is. A lot of the projects where I see the top NFT advisors happen to be well-respected people in the NFT space who can connect them to big projects for collabs, for Twitter spaces, and get a big enough audience so that the project's Discord can be full and they can have a sellout. That's pretty much what I have seen. And that's fairly standard, I think. At least that's been my experience for sure. 12, fucking FUD. Only takes one influencer or one viral tweet to severely impact a project nowadays. Founders often feel like they're walking on eggshells. It sucks. That's true, especially in the beginning. It is terrifying when you're starting a new project and you've put in, in some cases, months and months of work. When you're launching, you're so afraid that, like, normally if you're on YouTube and you make a video and someone hates it, no one gives you, who cares, right? I think we all have a little bit thicker skin than we did a decade ago with the internet stuff. But with Web3 and NFTs, it is true that a little bit of FUD can like really grow really quick and can screw a project up. I mean, it's ended many projects. I think that gets a little less impactful the longer you're out there and the longer you're around, and the more that you're accessible and providing value and doing your best. I think I would like to think that goes away a little bit, although FUD is always going to be there. I mean, there's some projects that are, that came out at the beginning of 2022 and they launch a project and they're huge. These are bigger we're talking top 10, top 25 projects, and they launch something and then there's a backlash and people hate it. And then the floor price dips. But I think as a team, you have to just kind of, you just kind of have to handle it and move on. And I think it's easier to do. It's certainly easier to do once you're post-launch and once you've been around for a minute. If your project gets, how many projects have we seen where the project sold out and then there was a reveal and people hated the reveal and then the project was like gone in 2 months. You never heard from the founder again. Part of that is the founder's problem, meaning they should fucking stay and work on their project if they actually give a shit. But a lot of that can be disheartening. Like when you have 10 or 20 or 30,000 people and or more in some cases, there's some been big projects that have hundreds of thousands of people supporting it. And then all of a sudden it drops and people don't like the art style, or they don't like the rarity distribution, or it wasn't what they thought or something. And they just flood the hell out of it. That's a big hit to a founder, especially if they're not used to it, or they're young, or it's a first time, or if it's a passion project. It can be hard. It can be really hard to fucking deal with. So definitely at the beginning, especially, you kind of feel like you're walking on eggshells. Absolutely. My experience anyway. Mental health. That ties into the FUD part, doesn't it? Working so hard to please so many people with an organic process has a severe toll on mental health. I sleep less, I worry more. While I'm having fun, it's draining. And the worst part is, if founders talk about it, it could be perceived as a weakness. Real talk. It's never perceived as a weakness, ever. I'm in a lot of entrepreneurial groups. Exhaustion is a real thing. Mental health is a real thing. Being drained and sleeping less and worrying more is a real thing. It's if you find that it's really affecting your mental health, you should find a way to fix it. Meaning, whatever you have to do, whether it's seeing somebody, whether it's talking to somebody, whether it's taking a break, whether it's sleeping more and trying to worry less, you have to do that. I sleep very little. I'm having a tremendous amount of fun. It is draining, but I'm not really that worried, right? That's my saving grace. It's because I know what I'm doing. And so I have 100% confidence in what we're building because I'm behind the scenes and I know what we're building. And I have 20 plus years experience in building what I'm building. So I'm like, okay, yeah, we got this. So my sleeplessness is tied into having fun and excitement about what we're doing. Is it draining? Hell yeah. It's 11:30 at night on a Friday. You know what I mean? Yes, it's draining, but I think it's okay. It's exciting. So if that's you, if you're really getting smashed by this, you take a break. Tell people about it. Be real about it. I think being real about it, even to your community, is actually helpful, endearing, and I think you might be surprised that people understand. And if they don't understand, if you come out publicly and you're transparent and say, guys, I need a mental break just for a day or two. I'm just really stressed out and I'm worrying and I'm sleeping not, and I'm not sleeping and I'm drained. If there's a few people in your group that are like, fuck you, get back to, then they're trash. There's people, you would hope that the real part of the community would take those people to task. And I think you'd be pleasantly surprised because most people get it. Most people understand. Legal. Luckily, we have a good legal consultant, but there were a lot of intricacies that came with starting an NFT the right way that we didn't account for, such as contracts that are valid overseas, proper incorporation, tax stuff, etc. Don't get wrecked. Protect yourself. Yeah, it's a business, man. It's a business. you know what I mean? Contracts are a thing. Business is business. Yeah, that's not a surprise to me because it seems kind of basic. But yeah, I guess if it's your first time doing an NFT and you're gonna just like do something with your friends, and you're gonna start hiring contractors or freelancers, it might be a rude awakening or eye-opening that all of a sudden you need to get an attorney and be incorporated and have all your tax stuff together and get contracts ready and all that. But yeah, man, that's day one stuff to me. Got to do it. I didn't know that was a surprise to other people. I'm actually a little surprised that legal is in here, but hey, I get it. I think it's awesome that it's been recognized, and it's definitely something that is mandatory. Number 15, these are just a small handful of the things that we weren't planning for to this extent. We haven't even minted yet, but we refuse to quit no matter what. Just keep pushing forward and pray that someone notices the hard work and vibes with the mission and art. Yeah, for sure. But I think it's not about praying. It's just about grinding and working hard. I'm a firm believer that if you keep pushing, like I really do, and it's just played out so much in my life. Like I believe that if you do what you were supposed to do and meant to do, and you keep pushing for it, the universe will bend. You know what I mean? Like the universe will bend before you will. This is what you see this all the time. This is why you hear stories of like the 10-year overnight success, right? All of a sudden someone blows up and they come out of nowhere, and it's just like all of a sudden they're huge, and you find out later that person's been grinding for 5, 10, 15 years, right? Look at Beeple. No one heard of Beeple until he sold a $69 million art piece. But that guy had been grinding, doing a pretty damn good art piece a day for what, like how many years? When it like 10 years or something? It was a long time. It was a number of years he was doing that. So, it's not about having an overnight success. It's about 10-year overnight success, right? So, people will discover you. The thing will grow. You just have to show up every day and keep working and keep delivering on your promises and, look at some of these things and be smart about it to the best of your ability. You're going to fuck up. I'm going to fuck up. You just got to like we did with the invite thing, but you just kind of got to pick your boots, pick out yourself up and say, sorry, I fucked up. We're learning this too. And you just kind of keep moving. But what do you guys think? It seems like a couple of people have seen this article, and look, just as a self-fulfilling prophecy, he types this up. He says, pray that someone notices the hard work and vibes with the mission or art. And this has got 1,700 likes, 45 retweets, 154 comments. At the top, it's got 12,000 likes, 637 quote tweets, 2,935 retweets. I'm going to say that mission accomplished, right? He was honest. He was truthful. He put something out there, and look what happened. Like, he got noticed. You know what I mean? That's great for his project. 100%. Epic win. Just by being real. Awesome. So that's what I got for you tonight, guys. We're not done yet. We are going to move forward into the Unethical Cupids Road to Rome giveaway. Dusty, are you ready, good sir? All right, let's see. I'm gonna pull Dusty up here. What's up, man? Here, let me.
Hey,
now I gotta
what's
put my
up, everyone?
in. Hold on. There you go. How you doing, brother?
Good. So I just wanted to announce that we're having an invite contest, and if you get 200 invites, we're going to give you something really good.
That's right.
But we need 200.
The first person to get 200 invites wins a Marvel No Prize. A classic Marvel No Prize can be yours for the small entry fee of 200
That's right.
New people, not bots. Thank you very much.
Not bots. That's
not
right.
Not bots. So, how you doing, Dusty? By the way, welcome.
Good.
I know everyone's wished you a happy birthday, but I think this has been the first time you're on stream since then. So happy birthday again.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh,
hey, Carrots has it right. 200 invites for one BAMP. That is right.
Well, that's actually interesting. That's actually a good question. You know what? I'm going to do this on the fly. So we've been thinking about Banff, and we're not going to announce anything necessarily tonight. But one of the things we are interested in is what Banff could be used for. Certainly we have ideas and some things we're going to announce, but we want to know what you guys think. So over the weekend, early next week, let me know. Hit us up in general and say, yeah, okay, what would you want Banff to be used for, and what would the token amount be, right? 100 Banff, 100 Banff equals Lamborghini, right? So 100 Banff equal Lambo. But yeah, I think that would be fun. Let us know what Banff should be used for and what you think is a fair amount of Banff to earn based on your own your own earnings. What do you guys think is fair? I think that would be fun. Cool. All right, so Dusty, should I go ahead and pull up the Wheel o' Fun?
Yeah.
All right, let's see. All right.
First, I just wanted to share this.
What is this? It's got doors. What?
Oh my goodness! Look at that heinous. We need this. Everybody needs this.
Oh, you got that grail. That's that heinous grail. That's that heinous grail.
It's probably my favorite card right there.
I love that card. I'm really proud of the grail pieces. We even got the rainbow in the background because he's got to have rainbow and like rainbow means special for
That's
NFTs. Right. I should have given him laser eyes. Oh, dude, we should do like a heinous or like a heinous laser eyes with like rainbow teeth.
There you go. There you go. All right, we have a picker wheel. But we could talk for a few more minutes. I like I like to wait for a little bit.
Ray just wants to know who has that card.
I don't think it's been given out yet.
Yeah, that's still in the vault. We've got a couple of we have a few. I think there's like 3. God, I should know this by heart, but I think that we have 3 that are still in the vault. There's one that's been given away. Yeah, those we will be giving away as time goes on because you guys should have that.
That's right.
Rageous, how many Banff tokens for the Grail heinous? It's up to you, Rageous. Tell us. So this is okay. So let's remind everybody. So this is for the Unethical Cupid's Roads to Rome giveaway. What was it? It's a NFT.
Yeah, it's an NFT from the Unethical Cupids collection. Yeah.
Awesome. Those guys were epic. It was a really good AMA. If you guys haven't checked it out, please do. They're genuine. They're real. And I got to tell you, from experience, man, as an animator, when I look at something and I'm like, and they did a 38-minute animation, like before even thinking about an NFT, that's a legit team that delivers. Yeah. That's instant. Let me tell you, that is instant from my perspective. Again, do your own research. Who knows? But for me personally, that is instant trust. I'm like, holy shit, they delivered on a 38-minute thing. Oh, here's the next episode and it's 15 minutes.
Yeah,
they delivered. Like, what else do you want? You know what I mean? Like, and it was damn funny too. Like, legitimately a funny, like really good writing and good animation. Carrot says 1 billion Banff. Let's get grinding. That's right.
But yeah, I can't wait for episode 3. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think so too. We're going to try to have them back on. They were good guys, really good guys. I'm going to see if we can meet up with them at some point in the future. But right on. All right, let's. So we got the NFT. This is again Unethical Cupids Roads to Rome NFT. We've got Willie D and Carrots and J Cokes and CDBE and Crispy Papa and the Mastiff and Hype. All right.
Those odds are pretty good.
Those are pretty good odds. Yeah, you guys are winners. I don't know what the hell is wrong with the rest of the AF. Like, people don't want a free NFT giveaway. Like,
Free stuff is free stuff.
Free stuff is free stuff, and from a good team too. So, you guys are the smart ones. All right, let's go. Let's see what's
All right,
up.
I guess we're ready.
Yep. Willie D.
Willie D.
Congrats, Willie D. Nailed it. Awesome. So, do us a favor. Actually, you know what, Dusty? How do you want to proceed with wallet IDs and all that? Should they just DM you?
Yeah, you can just DM me. Yeah,
Awesome.
That's perfect.
Yeah, there you go. And you will not have the Grail.
This is not
the Roads to Rome NFT.
Hey Todd, when you zoom in, why does it zoom in such a way? I just realized this.
Well, it just happens to be the center, man.
Okay.
You can was option, and you can move it up and down.
All right, duly noted.
Yeah,
duly noted.
I mean, you know, I like to see crotches close up, Dusty. I like my crotch up close and personal.
This is what I deal with, guys, every day.
That's right. Ray just says center of mass. That's right. You gotta bring the girth. Anyway, guys, thank you guys so much. We love you, and we all hope that you've enjoyed this episode. Next week we've got some great stuff. We've got I think a few AMAs lined up, or we're working on them, trying to lock some people in.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, we're gonna do what we always do. We're gonna hop over to Discord. We're gonna have an after party. I don't know. What's on the agenda tonight, Dusty? Is it?
I was gonna ask what everyone wants to do.
All right. Yeah,
I mean, I'm always down for low beans, but some people might want to play Eggy or something else. But we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. That sounds good, dude. Yeah, let's go over there. We'll head over to Discord. We'll have a little after party. We'll hang out for a bit and chill out. Maybe I'll get some more popcorn, because that's apparently what I do now. I just, you know, who needs to see their toes when they stand up? It's not really a necessary thing. I know they're there. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. Love you all. See you in Discord, and we'll see you next time for the next.
See you soon, guys.
Alpha.